I'm delighted to be here with Liz, editor-at-large, Koogan Page UK. And I wanted to stop and to chat to you a little bit about Soul Trader, the book, and how it came to life, which you know very much because you've had to edit this book, so thank you first of all for that. But you're also a bit of a soul trader yourself because you work in publishing, but you're also a business coach like myself, and you have a portfolio career. So I was really keen to chat to you also because you understand what it's like for people who are going on this journey of writing this particular book. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in the world of books and coaching. What's your story?
Oh, well, that's quite a long story. I guess to cut a long story short, I published a book on business coaching, which ended up in me qualifying as a business coach and deciding that I wanted to develop a portfolio career so that I could continue business publishing, which I love, but I could also develop my own business and be a business coach alongside. And ultimately maybe even to feed in a few other little things, a bit of travel writing and all the things that I really love to do. So Soul Trader is definitely something that's sort of quite close to my own interests, as well as being, I hope, a very successful book for Rasheed and for Koogan Page.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about, well, let's tell, I mean, for people who don't know, let's talk a little bit about the story behind the book, because we met at the British Library when the business coach partner at a business boot camp that they were doing. So were you there in terms of your business, partly interested in business and for Koogan Page? Tell me a little bit about what led you there.
That was very much me starting off my sort of Soul Trader career as a business coach, feeling a little bit nervous about covering all the bases, saw the ad for the business boot camp, came along, really enjoyed your presentation, and I think I just picked up on something, even though I was there as a business coach. Of course, I'm always a publisher as well, and you'd, I think, mentioned some of the books that you'd self-published before. And I thought, I was so impressed by your style and enthusiasm. Subtitle of your book is about putting your heart back into your business, and that really shone through with you. So I very much wanted to connect with you as a business coach because it's a whole new career for me, and I thought it'd be great just to connect on that level. But I guess also the commercial side of me was thinking, this guy's written some books, and if he could distill some of this experience and this enthusiasm into a book, then it might also fit in with my kind of Koogan Page side of the job. So that was why I sort of really wanted to connect with you after that session.
And so it was quite serendipitous, isn't it? Because you asked me, I remember you said, are you planning to write another book? And I of course said yes. And the thing that, the opportunity, and I did have this thing in mind of this thing, Soul Trader, and putting heart back into your business. And then I had I think a working title, building your business by heart, putting your business back heart to your business. And tell me a little bit, maybe from your perspective, because I've got my own perspective as an author. What is it you're looking for here? And you specialise in business books. What's it you're looking for in a book generally? And then what is it that really appealed to you about this particular book specifically? Because I guess people must be wanting to write books or publish books all the time. What are you looking for, and what kind of idea jumps out at you?
That's a really good question, and I think the main thing, which applies I think probably to any kind of book that you're writing, is it's really about the reader rather than about the author. And I think that's sometimes an important sort of reframing, because authors are really knowledgeable about their subjects, they're really enthusiastic, but the main thing I guess is sort of trying to think, putting yourself in the shoes of whoever might be reading it, who is your target readership and what might they be looking for, and then that really helps to focus on what they might find useful. So I think there was a sort of double thing with your book, because as a soul trader I was thinking, this is really useful stuff, and what I really liked in your style was that you're very in tune with the sort of the personal stuff and about it fitting with what you want to do at heart, and that's going to be the real driver of success in your business, because if your heart's in it, you're going to want it to really work. But in combination with that, you have real nitty-gritty advice. So this is not off with the sort of fairy stuff about just sit and meditate and it will all happen. You've got really down-to-earth tips, and that's what, as a soul trader, I was looking for. And as a publisher, I was thinking, yeah, this is what the reader's going to be looking for. They want hard-hitting advice. So I think you've got a really good combination of sensitivity, but also really motivating people to do what it takes.
And so once you've got an idea like this particular book and that we had, and how do you bring that to life? So your role as a editor, what are you looking to do then? Because we'd had a chat about the book, and I'd written an outline, and you looked at that particular outline and so on. What's then the process of that, from your perspective, in terms of bringing a book to life? Because I guess we as readers just see the book at the end of the day that appears on the shelf. What's the process of bringing that book to life?
and it is quite a long process. I mean, yours has done quite a sort of quick run through, I think, the whole process. I guess the first thing is to get that proposal working, and for me as an editor, that sort of, is the structure going to be working? Is the author really clear about what the key message is? Is that message going to resonate with the audience? And then I guess it goes into the whole internal process, which is about getting the board to approve the investment in that book, and then it moves on through the marketing side. What's the plans for promoting the book? What's the jacket going to look like?
Yeah.
And get all the other departments involved. So it does take quite a long time.
And I guess it's a big commercial decision, isn't it? Is that I guess so many people want to write books, and for me it's been a wonderful experience because I've been able to see the publishing world from the inside. We often only see that we're sending things up to publishers and what have you, but I guess there's a lot of consideration. How does this fit with our catalogue of books? As you said, what are customers actually looking for now? What's going on in the market now? Is this something that everybody's going to get? And can this person actually write in a style that's going to really arrest readers?
Yeah, no, it's quite a complex thing because that all fits in. I mean, it's the strategy of what kind of books are we publishing. Do we think this author's got what it takes? They've written a proposal, can they deliver it? Does it fit with other books that we're publishing? And I suppose, I always remember an old boss of mine had a really good sort of quote to sort of help authors think about their own proposal, and he's saying, don't answer a question that no one's ever asked, which I think is a really good, I often have that in mind when I'm looking, and I think, this is all really interesting, does anyone need to know it?
Yeah.
And I think that's what I liked about your book, because it was very good timing for me personally, and that allowed me to relate to that small business and entrepreneurship market, because I thought, we do need to know this.
Right, so I'm keen to ask then, because for me, I've written the book, but I'm very keen to know for yourself, so, and I guess maybe as something like somebody might read this book, actually is perhaps starting their journey or growing their business and so on, what for you is this book actually about? Because there's so much stuff out there about starting a business or growing a business, there's websites, there's books, there's all the rest of it. What for you is this book actually about, and for you personally, how does this book personally kind of chime with you, if at all?
No, it's rubbish. I think it is about that identifying what's important, and then, because one of my favourite sort of coaching quotes is the start with the end in mind, and I think that very much feeds through this, because it's that, know where you're going in terms of what are your
so it's that clarity where it starts.
Clarity. Yeah, so that I think really resonated for me, and I also remember we did the sort of coaching session at the beginning, which was really useful for me, because it was sort of coaching me on my business.
Yeah, and just explain to people about that, because I really wanted, I think with the book, what I really wanted to do was I really wanted for you to get a sense of the book and the aliveness of the book and how it is that I worked, to really give you a sense of that particular approach. So doing that coaching session for me was an opportunity to kind of share that and that space about that clarity, because it's so important. I bet you must find that also as a business coach, that thing about clarity.
Absolutely.
Who are you? What is it you're wanting? Where are you actually at in your life, in your business now? What does business mean to you? What are the challenges now, and so on? Yeah.
Absolutely. So I found that really helpful to me in terms of developing my own business, and I think it made me realise that whatever stage you were at and whatever issues you were grappling with, there was something in here that is not going to give you necessarily all the technical answers, but it helps you get that focus and just all the stuff. It's very common sense, I think, a lot of the things, and it just makes you step back and think, I could do that. I could reach out and get help, or I can do this, or there's just an awful lot in there. I think gives people just a bit of a boost, and that's what I got from your coaching as well. It was that kind of confidence to think, you might not have all the answers, but you're kind of on the right track, and you've got some specific action points. So it gives you something so you can actually get up the next day and get started.
And I think that's it. I think for me, what I really wanted to achieve with this book is that, so many different people, and different people are different with business. Some people have all the wherewithal to start and so on, they do the research and so on, but some people they're really good at what they do, but they don't know how to start. And I really wanted a book that people could run with and work with in their own way, and so they could find the resources themselves in order to move particularly forward, which is why the focus on things like customers and cooperation is so important. So once you've got that clarity, here I am, this is what I'm wanting to do, who do you know? Who could you chat to who can help you, who might know an accountant? Who do you know who you could chat to who can help you develop that website? Who do you know you could chat to just who's run a business before, and so on? I often feel that business is made complicated and complex. It's actually about just people exchanging skills and services. You have got to go, you produce cheese, somebody else, you know, is a musician, somebody else bakes bread. We always used to, that's how business, the bartering stuff. And I really wanted people to remember that business is about that exchange of skills and so on, and all the rest of it, the marketing and all the rest of it, is stuff on top. And if you understand that thing about yourself and who you are, your skills and your magic, and what other people can do, and how you can work collectively and collaboratively. And that, so for me it was about, and I was really pleased that one of the things that you picked up when we were beginning to explore the book was this thing about helping cut the financial and the emotional cost.
Yeah.
Because for me that's really, really important. Actually, you can do it. It doesn't need to be expensive. You don't need huge financial investors in your business, and for lots of people, I guess, with this particular book, are people who are healers, therapists, they could be any kind of business, running a little shop, doing jewellery and so on. Most businesses, you can start and run if you're a bit creative.
And that's what holds people back, isn't it? The idea that you might have to sort of, you know, that you need all this high-end, expensive stuff. And I think this sort of gives you the freedom that you don't need it. I really like just that you mentioned as well doing things in their own way, because I think that's one of the things that I think you've done really well in the book is, because I've been on one of your courses and, you know, I had a coaching session from you, I knew a little bit of what it was like to work with you in person. And I think when I read the manuscript, and afterwards you told me you'd actually dictated a lot of it on tape first, but I could really hear your voice, and I find that with books that really work, when I'm reading the manuscript, and because I've worked with the author, I can hear them as though they're reading it to me, and then I know they've written it in a really authentic way, so I just knew that you'd captured how you work, which means that it really is, you know, your heart's in this, it's not something you've made up for the readers. This is how you work. So, you know, whether you like it or not, you know, this is
that's the reader and it's authentic.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the camera now, and I want to come back and maybe for us to talk a little bit in part two. Maybe we could talk about, and I think you've just touched on it there. What is it that really makes a good book? I'd really be interested in listening to the editor. You can get so many manuscripts, you can see so many books. There's a whole range of wonderful books that you guys publish here. I'm really wanting to explore a little bit about for you what makes a really good book, and what, as an editor at large, you're hoping might chime with people with this particular book. So it'd be great if we could talk a little bit about that. So I'm going to pause, and then we'll come back and talk about that.